So today's topic, causes of our life problems. Sounds very serious, isn't it? Well, problems are supposed to be serious, no? And I have purposefully kept the topic as causes of life problems and not solution or how to solve our life problems. I'm a medical doctor, no? We can't provide a solution unless we know the cause. Removal of the cause is the treatment. Removal of cause is the solution. So, and the biggest problem in front of us these days is this pandemic situation. Now, is it a problem for you? Yes, this is a problem for all of us. But what has made this pandemic a problem for all of us? Is this a problem because there is a virus in the universe? Or this is a problem because you are locked in your house, because you don't have a job right now? Or is it a problem because your business is suffering? Or maybe your child is unable to continue his or her learning in school? Or maybe you have a fear of survival? Yes. So what I'm trying to ask is the presence of virus a problem, or its effect on you is a problem? Yes, you got it right. A problem is a problem only if it is affecting us. Is this sounding clear to you? Is this becoming clear in your mind that a problem becomes a problem when it starts affecting us? So the presence of virus in the universe is not the problem. There were many viruses even before COVID, and it is going to be there. But why right now we are troubled? Why we are right now stressed? Because it is affecting us in some way. Now, if we come back to the topic, which is the causes of problems, if we look at all the religions, go back and find out what is the cause of suffering, there is a very particular cause which is written all over, which is ignorance. Yes, we understand it in Hindi as agyan. So ignorance has been considered as the cause of suffering. In Buddhism, it is one of the three causes of suffering. The other two are desire and attachment. So, what do you understand from ignorance? Yes, I know we all know what ignorance is. It's lack of knowledge. Ignorance is the darkness. Knowledge is the light. When you bring the light, ignorance goes away, the darkness goes away, and this is what we understand from ignorance. But I'm not talking about this understanding. This is just the knowledge. This is just the information about ignorance. But how do you see ignorance in your own self? What is your understanding of ignorance? That's what we are going to touch base upon today. So let's understand this ignorance with an example. So imagine there is a child who thinks that his father goes to office every day, and there is a tree in his father's office where the money is hanging. And he goes to office, picks up the money from the tree, and comes back with money so that his family can buy the things that they need. So that is his understanding, or that's what he thinks about his father going to office and earning money. What would you call such a child? He's ignorant. He's ignorant of the process of earning money. How the papa is earning money, he doesn't know. He's ignorant. Simple. Now, how can we remove this ignorance? Yes, so one day the papa takes him to the office, shows him how they work, how the day at office is, and then explains him that this is how when we work, the company earns money, and that money is shared with all the people who are working here as salary. And that's how papa brings money to home. Ignorance is removed. Now, is there any ignorance in the mind of the child that there is still a tree? That's how ignorance is removed. The moment we understand something, the moment we see something as it is, the real, we expose ourselves to the reality, the ignorance is removed. So that is why these examples are given. When you light a lamp, the darkness goes away. Because the moment you see something, the moment you understand something as it is, your ignorance is removed. So if we closely see how we look at our problems, we get one with our problems, isn't it? We are feeling the problem all the time. We are thinking about the problem all the time. We're just chanting the problem all the day long. So we see ourselves as one with the problem. Do you think it's ignorance? Don't you think that it's just like that child thinking something which is not true? Then what is the truth? What is the wisdom? We all know that, let's imagine that your friend has the same problem what you are suffering right now. You can imagine whatever your problem is right now. It could be you don't have a job, you're not getting married, whatever, financial problem. So imagine your friend has that problem. Now, what would your friend is sitting with you, sharing this problem. What would you do? What would you tell your friend? I'm sure you would have so much wisdom to share with your friend. Oh, job is nothing, it's just one thing. It's not your life. You're still alive, your breath is running, you're still breathing. Why are you thinking so negative? You would definitely get a job. You have talent, Why don't you look for a job? Look for a job here, look for a job there, apply there, I'll help you. All of that. Oh, you don't know this skill, why don't you learn this skill? So we have so many solutions when it comes to the problem of our friend. Can you see the difference? Why? It's the same problem. It's the same thing. Why everything changes the moment it becomes somebody else's problem? Can you see your ignorance now? Because when it is your problem, then you get one with it. You think that you are the problem. But in case of your friend, you can see that problem from a distance. You can see that you are not the thoughts of your friends. You can see that you are not the emotions of your friends. You are someone who can see things clearly, who has the wisdom about this subject, and that's what you're sharing. That's the ignorance we all are in. We think when it is our problem, we become one with the problem. We think the emotions, the fear, the grief, whatever is coming, that's you. That's not you. The problem is separate. You are someone else. You are that conscious self that we have talked about. You are someone who has all the answers. Don't you think when you sit down quietly, you are able to see your problem? You are able to give solution to your own problem. You have the solution. Doesn't this thought come, oh, it's just about marriage, it's just about job. Why am I giving it a big deal? It's okay. It will happen at the right time. So we have that wisdom. It's just that we do not realize that it's there with us. We are looking at the problem by becoming the problem, by becoming one with the problem. The moment we see these two are separate things, you are the viewer, the problem is here, you are able to see the problem, you can give the solution like you are able to give it to your friend. What happens when you go to a movie hall? I'm sorry, these days you are unable to go, so it is just reminding you of those old days. But imagine when you are in a movie hall, you're seeing a movie on the screen. So it does happen that we get so much affected by that screen that we see people crying, we see as if this is happening live in front of us. But what happens when the movie gets over? We walk out of the theater and we see those lights blinking in our, we come out of that darkness and we see some light. Oh, okay, now I have to eat dinner. Oh, I have to go home. This was just a movie. So what happens then? That brings your wisdom back and there is no ignorance. So what you were seeing on the screen, you were thinking that this is something which is happening alive. This is something you were crying, you couldn't control your emotions. And then the moment you came out of the theater, you see the light, immediately everything changes. You realize that, oh, that was a movie. So this, As long as we have this ignorance of seeing ourselves attached or one with our problem, we will not be able to see it separate from us. Sit back, look at it. You can even write your problem. You write about your problem. What is your problem? Write. What is my problem? This is my problem. Okay. What is causing me a problem? One is a problem, but what is causing you a problem? List down all those things. Now, how can, as a friend, if this is the problem of my friend, how can I solve it? What are the solutions that I can provide him? So if we understand it again, the ignorance, so if I think these two hands are one, this is ignorance. The moment I see them separate, this is wisdom. Of course, there would be one possibility. Either my two hands are one or these are two different hands. So looking at them as different hands is wisdom. And that automatically dissolves the first thing, which is these two hands are one. So this does not exist. So this ignorance does not exist as long as I'm able to see these as two separate hands. So if you go back to the example of the friend, so now what happens usually in our case? Our mind has a lot of reasons to give why this is a problem for you. There's so much pain. What will you do? It shows you so many fears. It shows you so many sort of insecurities and how it has happened in the past, how it has happened with that person. This will happen to you. It shows you all those things that you start imagining in your mind and thinking that there's a tree of money. You start believing it that there's a tree of money, but actually there is not. So what you have to do is, when your mind is presenting you all this reason, you have to imagine that your mind is your friend. The friend who has come with all those reasons. How your friend talks when he has a problem. He keeps telling you, I don't have a job, how will I sustain, what will happen to this, what will, my loan or this and that, he has all the things sort of revolving around that problem. He has so many things to sort of attach to it, to sort of embellish it nicely, to decorate it, to make it look very nice and charming and attractive, so that you sort of get convinced. That's what our mind does. So you sort of treat your mind as your friend. Yes. Treat your mind when it is presenting you with all these beautiful, attractive decoration of your problem. You treat him like a friend. So what do you do with your friend? You listen to him. Your mind is presenting all this reason, and then you give a reply. You provide a solution. Why don't you look for a job? Why don't you apply here? Why don't you do this? So similarly, your understanding of that subject has to be also there. Only then you can give advice to your friend. No, only then you'll be able to give advice to your mind. Otherwise, mind will kind of win here. So you have to gather some knowledge as well about this subject that your problem is about. Your problem is about money. If your problem is about marriage, if your problem is about whatsoever in life, usually we have problem. I'm not talking about those petty things that we find problem in. He said me that, I felt bad, that happened. I'm not even talking about those petty things. I'm talking about so-called real problems of life. So if you really understand that subject, your wisdom about that subject is good enough, is solid. We have to understand that we have to gain knowledge. What is this knowledge? This knowledge is about gaining information about that subject so that you draw your own understanding, which becomes wisdom. So knowledge is gaining information and then driving your understanding from it, deriving the essence from it, which becomes your wisdom. And that wisdom should be enough so that it can give answer back to your mind, so that it can shut your mind that, hey, this is the reality. There is no tree of money. This is what the reality is. So the more you are able to do this, the more you are able to kind of give answer back to your mind will start slowly getting weakened. So the first ignorance is that we are seeing these two hands as one, while the wisdom is to see them as separate. You are here, your consciousness, who can watch, your mind, who is your friend, and your knowledge about the subject should be very solid so that you can give answer to your mind. So you have to gain knowledge, you have to increase your wisdom. Only then you can give answer to ignorance. That is very important. Yes, we have to act. It won't come to you. You have to gain this knowledge, you have to act. That's why there is a very important mention of right conduct, right action. What is the right action? This is the right action. One is the wisdom, another is the right action. So that is when we work towards something very consciously, we know what we are doing. That is the right action. But these days, how do we want the solution to our life problems? We want somebody should just come like a magic, with a magic wand, some genie should come and just move the magic wand and a problem should get solved. But we want the strings of our life in our hands. We want to run our life as per our own terms, as per our own rules. But we want, if a problem comes, then somebody should come and remove it. What is this kind of a control? It's a control in then somebody else's hand. So we have to take action. Has to be very clear. It has to be very clear. I come across my patients who say, oh, I want to lose weight, weight is my problem, weight loss, I want to do weight loss. Okay, go exercise, sweat out, eat this diet, do not follow these unhealthy habits that you have been following. Oh, I'll have to do this much. I'm sure you're able to relate to it. That's how we are. We do not want to take action for our own lives. We want to do everything. We want to be the king of this world, but we do not want to take action for our own self, for our own problems. Well then, no knowledge, no information can help us. So, so if we conclude today's session, we understand that ignorance is absence of wisdom, and ignorance is the cause of suffering. How ignorance can be removed? By bringing in wisdom, and the wisdom can only be brought by acquiring knowledge about a subject so that you can understand from its essence what this is about, and then you build a very strong base against your mind, which is sort of the cause of your problems. Well, I hope this makes sense and you are able to find a new perspective to your so-called life problems. Well, thank you for staying tuned and keep taking care of yourself. I'll see you soon.